So, yeah, hi everyone. My name is Vedant, and I'm an ex-SD at Myntra, and currently working as a software engineer too at India's biggest OTT platform. I'm not bound to say the name of my employer due to some reasons, but you might have guessed it already. So currently, I'm working from home. I'm from Uttar Pradesh, Varanasi, and today we are going to talk about a really interesting topic. That is how to crack front-end interviews of top product companies. So I have had experience with Myntra and even with my current employer. Both are top-notch product companies. So I think this session might be very useful for you to gain like inside knowledge of what is exactly asked for product based companies and how you should prepare for it. And you're also going to learn like it is not just limited to product companies. It whatever I'm going to share with you all would be applicable for any front end interview. So post this call, you all will have a in-depth idea about interviews, what all topics are asked, and how you should prepare it, what should be the timeline, and do you really want to be a part of the front end community. So we are that the whole discussion is going to be really awesome. And before moving forward, I would just like to hear everyone, like, where are you from and what you all are doing. Maybe you can uh, Abhishek, they can put up their answers in the chat, right? It is possible.
Yes, yes. They
Cool.
all
So
can write the
I'm
chat.
looking great. I'm looking forward to a really engaging audience. So if quickly, like, you all can tell where are you studying or what you are doing currently. So that would be a really awesome thing for me. Great, great. Okay, we have 22 passed out. We have BCA students. Great. And what else? Oh, we have a backend engineer as well. Oh, we have mechanical guys. Okay. Okay, BTech, nice. Okay. So we have someone from Delhi. Oh, we already have a front-end developer with us. Awesome, awesome. I think we have really talented people right now. Exactly. It's fine, Virendra. If we are not even from non-technical background, I think this this particular call is will be really helpful. And feel free to ask any questions. Great, great. We have internships and full stack developers. Great. I think that introduction was enough. Okay, we also have someone who wants to switch a company. Great, awesome. So you already know what we are going to discuss today. Now I have prepared a small slide on the Miro app whiteboard, and there are a few key points like measure the depth of the ocean and other stuff. So the things are really interactive, and like it might feel that you have these questions in your mind. So starting off with the first thing that I want to present is measure the depth of the ocean before making a dive. So, as you all want to dive into the ocean of the front end development, but you really need to measure the depth of this ocean. Okay. So, there are certain questions I want you all to ask yourself as I'm speaking these questions out. Okay. And have an answer to it as well. So, understand what kind of work does a front end developer does. So do you really understand what exactly does a front end developer does in a company, whether be it a service based company, whether be it is a product based company? So think about it. So I hope you have the answer. Maybe the obvious answer is they look after the products. Okay. So talking about, let's say, if someone is working as with Amazon Prime, okay, on the website. So their job is to maintain that product Amazon Prime so that users can watch videos, users can interact, sorry, user can add movies to their playlist or the watch list, and they can access multiple content, right? So the job of the front end developer is to maintain that user experience. Let's say if I click on any movie, let's say World War Z on Prime, right? So it should open a player for me. The player should look nice. It should not be, discarded or scattered on different resolutions. It should, so user should have a same experience despite of what device he or she is using. So this is the role of a front end developer. They make products. The second question I want to ask, do you really enjoy making websites, or it is just you are in the exploring phase of your life, right? So there's a difference. There are people who make websites and there are people who love making websites. Okay. So try to understand where are you fitting right now. So if you are someone who is making website but not loving that, then to become a true front-end developer, you need to transition to the second one, right? You have to really have to love making those websites. You have to really love looking into how you can structure your product, how you can write code, how you can make everything better. So this is the second expectation that you should have as a front-end developer when you are in that. The third question is, maybe you also like back-end work as well, not keeping both of your legs in the same boat. So are you someone that apart from the front end, you also heavily like to work on back end as well? Then the front end might just not be the best option for you. If you are someone who like back end as well and a little work on front end maybe, so a full stack developer is something you should look forward. Okay. Again, a full stack developer are guys who keep one leg in front end and another leg in the back end board. Okay. So there are two boards, and you, as said, you should never sail two boats at one time, right? So full stack developer is, and again in full stack development there are two cases. One is front end heavy, and one is back end heavy. Okay, so back end heavy guys are the one that work extensively on the back end and work little on the front end, and vice versa for the front end heavy developers. Now, the next question is, are you really curious about front end? Okay, I did have some questions as well. Uh, okay, there are no questions. Okay, so yeah, so the next question I was talking about was, are you really curious about front end? Like, how did you think of the part when you get to know about front end, when you got to know about back end, when you got to know about maybe MLAI or whatever stuff? So what was that key thing that pulled you to front end? Was it what cool looking websites, or was it the complexity of the JavaScript language, or was it the way you can design beautiful graphics with CSS, or was it HTML? I don't know. Maybe any HTML guy who really liked front end just because of HTML. I hope not. So this should be the question, like think what made you curious about front end. And the last question that I want you to ask yourself is, where do you see yourself in the industry after 5 years as a front end developer? And this is a very crucial question, because I have seen people in the industry with 2 years or 3 years of experience, and they are not satisfied with what they are doing. So like let's say they are a front end developer making websites, they have to write code in React, they have to write code in Vue or whatever be the language, or maybe jQuery. But after they have reached some threshold, they really don't like the work they are doing. Now they have spent 3 years in the corporate as a front end developer. Now at this point, if you want to switch if you want to switch to maybe backend development, now is it like when you switch to backend, do you expect yourself to get a designation of a senior developer, counting that 3 years of experience? Right? No, you will start as a beginner, and so does your annual compensation will be affected, right? So if you are, my intention behind asking this question is that you should be really sure about front end, right? Or not just about front end, it should be like any job you are picking up when you're as a fresher. So it is really important that you pick the right job for you, so that be it 5 years, be it 10 years, be it whatsoever year, you are in that same industry. Okay, So if you remain in that same industry for a longer period of time, you tend to gain expertise, right? You tend to gain knowledge, you tend to gain more opportunities, and then you accelerate, yeah, in your career path. So you start as a SD, SD2, then staff engineer, then principal engineer, and maybe engineer manager. And then after engineering manager, you have like maybe you can be an architect or whatsoever. So having a specific domain for you is really, really crucial, so that at later point of time you don't rethink about your decision you have made and you start jumping between roles, and again you have to start everything from scratch. This is something I do not want for all the viewers that are attending this call today. So think of me as a mentor or something. Like, I am very, very like careful when someone chooses any job. Like, I make sure that whatever they are choosing, they do that with their whole heart. So I hope these questions, these 5 questions, made you think on the broader aspect of the front end development, right? So if you are, one second, yep. So let me also present it. Maybe this should be better. Cool. So after all these questions, you replied to me, I really want to be a front-end developer. Now tell me how many rounds are there in an interview. Okay. So now in this part, there are actually these many rounds, and we'll try to understand each of the rounds that is being asked in a front-end interview. Okay. So if appearing, like say you are a fresher or you are appearing for a software engineer one role. Okay. So the first and the compulsory round that happens is the JavaScript round. Okay. So they'll say that this would be a JavaScript round. Your task is to ask HR, okay, what kind of questions can we ask in this round? Okay. So uh, think of it that in JavaScript there are some basic concepts. Okay. So basic concepts like closures. Okay, I have written these concepts as well, like closure, hoisting, event loop, call stack, difference between var, let, and const, async functions, arrow functions, okay, and other stuffs, whatnot, right? So in JavaScript round, you can expect the interviewer to grill you on anything related to JavaScript. It is not just that it will be you will be asked theoretical questions. Okay, explain this, explain that. Okay, this is just a part of the JavaScript route. The another part is something you can expect is a output based questions. So in output based question, what will happen is that you will be given a code snippet, and you just without running the code, you are expected to write the output, and also you have to explain it how you achieve to that output or the result that you are stating. So this is the another part of the JavaScript round. And another round is the polyfill. So in polyfill, let's say you are having many utilities functions in the JavaScript, right? Like promise.all, you do array.map, you do array.reduce, and other stuffs. So in interviews, basically in a polyfill question, what they do is they interviewer asks that create a polyfill of promise.all. So what it means that you have to write a function that behaves exactly as the utility function promise.all, and the interviewer will pass some input cases. Okay. And that particular code which you have written should be expected to generate the exact same output that promise.all function is going to return. So this is the polyfill. And again, there are many questions on call, apply, bind, and many whatnot. Okay. So think of JavaScript as your what's say it can be a round where you can be disqualified. Okay, so there are companies that have interviews, like they'll let you give all 5 interviews, and at the end they'll decide on the score whether you are selected or not. And there are companies that have interviews where each round is an eliminator round. Eliminator rounds are that if you try to fail some certain amount of questions in the interview, then in there only your interview will stop and you won't be allowed to give interviews further. Okay. So think of JavaScript round as the eliminator round, and this really like helps you shape the rest of the interviews. So if you score good in a JavaScript round, then for sure other interviewers will, when they will review the the feedbacks, so they'll get to know, okay, this person knows JavaScript really well. All a front end developer needs to know is JavaScript really well. Okay. So this is like the foundation for any front end interview. And as a front end developer, also, you should be really solid with JavaScript concepts. Coming to the second round. Second round is a machine coding round. So why machine coding round? Machine coding round is, let's say, you'll be asked to take your machine to the interview, okay, and there you'll be presented with a problem. So problem, for example, uh, like the interview will ask that create a counter, okay, counter as in what? There's a display on the screen with zero, and there is a button, increment or count. Now when you press that count button, you have to increment that count with one or two or whatsoever be the number. This is just one example, and this is, I guess, the prettiest simplest one. Okay, the more wider and more tougher questions are like you have to make accordion, you have to make a sidebar menus, you have to make a progress bar, or there is a star rating as well. And the or there is even more tougher questions like, you have heard about file explorer, right? So if you are writing a code in visual code, so on the left hand side of the studio, you can see all the folders structured. And once you start opening the folders, they all open like a tree. Okay, and you can also insert or create or delete any file or folder between any of the nodes that you are currently seeing in the visual code. So just imagine that the whole round is of 45 minutes, and you have to come up with whole design, you have to come up with the whole data structure that is going to be used, and you have also have to implement that solution right and there only. All of this under 45 minutes, given that 5-10 minutes go into the introduction round. Okay, so the net amount of time which you have is really less, and this is where practice comes in. Like, so if I let's say if you haven't practiced this file explorer question anytime, right? You haven't practiced it, and you are facing that question for the first time in an interview, then just imagine the possibility or the probability of your solution to work. Or you may have the solution in mind, but will that 35 minutes or 30 minutes be enough for you to make that application work completely in front of the interviewer? I guess that is pretty next to impossible. So having a decent amount of practice is really important, and this is where I guess Ankit would also agree that Geekster also comes, where they help you practice these types of questions, right? So practice is the key to machine coding round. God forbidden, if you somehow encounter any new question, then my friend, the person who is having a practice of that question before might be having better chances than you of cracking that round. So it is really crucial to practice questions on machine coding rounds, and I hope you got a understanding of what machine coding round is actually. So moving to a DSA problem. So in data structure and algorithms for a front-end developer, so it is an optional interview round. Okay, some companies they have a DSA rounds, and some companies they do not have a DSA rounds. So I know few companies that have a DSA rounds in their like the whole structure is, I guess, Google. I guess it is Atlassian. It was not Swiggy. I know Swiggy doesn't has it. Postman also doesn't has it. Even my employer has it. Okay, they have it. And what all? So I guess even Meta has it. Meta, the Facebook. So if you see that all these big companies, big tech giants, they have a DSA rounds for sure. But if you are applying, sorry, so if you are applying for maybe startups or maybe service-based companies like Accenture, Cognizant or Capgemini, or some startups like Swiggy, Zomato, Razorpay, or etc. So these companies, I don't think they have a DSA rounds. But again, if you do not prepare DSA, then what's the point of the hustle, right? So if you are aim for good companies always. So if you are preparing for DSA, then this gives you a leverage over other people, that you are someone who has the knowledge to answer DSA questions. Then this gives you the ladder to top tech giants like Google, Facebook, my company, or other tech giants as well, right? I think even Amazon has good DSA rounds for front-end developers, be it starting from SD1 to SD2 or senior engineer or whatsoever. So DSA is a must round if you want to clear, if you want to work in a really great companies. And that is why this particular DSA point is really relevant to today's topic, because today we are only focusing top product companies. Okay. So in DSA, if questions are asked to you, then you can expect questions from easy to medium lead code level. So, and also there is one misconception or a great query among every interviewer or the candidate, that should I solve DSA problem in front of the interviewer in my own comfortable language? Like, let's say if I only know C++, but I'm appearing for a front end interview. So, will it be okay to solve that DSA problem in C++, or shall I solve that question in JavaScript? So, I think your intuition at that moment will say, okay, whatever I am comfortable at, I should write that code in that language, be it, for example, C++. But think about the interviewer as well. Okay, you are sitting for a front end developer job where, after, if you crack the interview, you will be writing JavaScript forever. Okay, so why do you think that C++ would be a good idea? Would be a good idea. Would be a good language to solve that question, right? It is not making sense. So if you are appearing for a DSA rounds, you should try to. I'm not saying it is a must. Maybe interviewer knows C++, or maybe he or she knows Java or Golang or whatever language you are writing, right? But there is one thing for sure, that interviewer knows how to write JavaScript. He or she knows in and out of JavaScript very well. So if you solve the question in JavaScript, then the technical differences between you and the interviewer are absolute zero. Okay. Whatever line you are writing, the interviewer is able to understand it, right? And also it leaves a good impression on the interviewer as well. Now, take example. There are two candidates. Same problem is given to both of them. One writes a question in C++, and one writes a solution in JavaScript. Now, let's say you are the interviewer for that round. Now, tell me honestly, both of them have solved the questions, and it has the same time complexity. Who would you rather pick up for the job? Will it be that C++ guy, or will it be that JavaScript guy? Obviously, you will pick that JavaScript guy, and this is what exactly you have to think. So when you are appearing for an interview, you have to think as a candidate. Okay, that is fine, that is your job, but you also have to think from the mindset of the interviewer as well. Okay, what is he or she expecting from me in this particular interview? Is he expecting me to write a good solution in JavaScript, or I just get over it and just do zero efforts and write the code in whatever language I am comfortable in? So I hope this cleared your thought process when you are approaching for a DSA round. And how to prepare for DSA round, this is something we are going to discuss in the next topic. But for now, I guess these are few points that really nobody tells us. Okay, and this is something I gained from my experience. So yeah, so that was about the DSA round. So far we discussed first the JavaScript round, that is that acts as an eliminator round, and also it leaves the impression for other interviewers as well. Second was machine coding round, where we realized that solving the question beforehand is the only key to get a sure shot selection in that round. The next was the DSA rounds, where we discussed whether it has to be a JavaScript solution or a C++ or Java or whatever, and how you what kind of questions you can expect. As discussed, easy to medium lead code questions. So this was a summary of top three rounds. The next round, system design. Okay, it is a little controversial round. Few companies, they do ask system design for SD1, and this is, I think, against the practice. You shouldn't ask a system design round for someone who has just entered the market and he or she is not having that much experience of building scalable systems. Okay, so if you are having that system design route, I am expecting that for SD1, if asked, then it has to be really, really simple. Okay, maybe some questions around optimization, and that should be it. But for SD2 and above, okay, for SD2 and above, they are more focused on low level design. So if you try to study the whole system design thing, so whole system design has two parts. One is the high level design, where they talk about interaction between services, like my Amazon service, AWS is going to interact with which cluster or which node or which EC2 instance, and where are my servers hosted and how they are going to interact internally. So HLD is more of a machine interaction, okay, whereas LLD talks about the whole software. Okay, how you are going to structure the whole component. Okay, let's say you are given in an interview that let us design a autocomplete suggestion. By autocomplete suggestion, like for example Google, if or the LinkedIn search, for example, if you try to search someone name over the LinkedIn search URL, it drops a suggestion for you. It drops a suggestion with their profile picture, with their name, and if there is a company, then there is a separate section for it, right? So think of these problems, okay, and these problems are for LLD rounds. So what is you are going to be asked? So for example, the first question would be like, okay, we are going to structure autocomplete widget. Okay, tell me how the component would look like. What are the props if you're writing in React? What are the props that this component is going to accept? Is this component really optimized? What are the edge cases that can occur? Let's say if in future I want to introduce my own design system inside this component. Let's say on LinkedIn, you see that the profile picture is on the left and the name is on the right. Now in future, let's say I want to introduce a new template that the name is on the left, the image is on the right, and there are few more badges and few more labels to it, and this is a completely new HTML. So your component should be dynamic enough that it can accept or render any kind of design system. Okay, design system means a component, a differently new component that can be rendered inside it. Okay, so LLD is completely focused on software, whereas HLD you can expect it for staff engineer rounds, or maybe in an architect round, or maybe in engineering manager round. Okay, so system design is something you should not worry for if you are a entry level candidate or you are an intern. This is primarily for SD2 and above. So this was about system design. The next is a managerial round. Managerial round is also somewhat controversial as well. Sometimes managers would ask questions about like how to manage a team, how do you work as a team player, what was one of the worst mistake you did in your previous employer, in your previous employment, you did some blunder mistake, or because of you the production was down for a day maybe, or whatsoever can be the question. Okay, so these are um some questions that you should be really careful on answering, because the last thing you want to do is lay a bad impression on the manager. Okay, manager doesn't want to hire people because of whom the production was down, because of whom there were many bugs, because of, so the worst mistake is something you should be really careful on answering that. Okay, and what can be the answer? I would love to hear your opinions. Like, let me bring on the chat. I think this is a really interesting part. Cool. My question was, let me repeat the question for you all. So let's say you are having a managerial round, and imagine me as the manager, and I'm asking you the questions that tell me the worst thing you did in your previous job, or what was the worst, baddest thing happened because of you in your previous employment. So what could be your answer? I would love to hear the responses. So if someone is interested, maybe they can raise a hand and Ankit can allow them to speak. Or if you are comfortable in sharing on text, you can share that on text as well. Shan Alam, I would suggest that you should not go with the honest one. Corporate life isn't about the honesty, so you should not do that. So if you are a fresher, I don't think this question would be asked to you. But if you had an internship, then that's a valid point, right? Because as an intern, you are bound to make mistakes. So you had an internship, now you are applying for a full-time job, then you can talk about internships. But if you're applying for internships, then they don't ask. Even they don't have managerial round as well. I guess someone did raised hand before. Is someone willing to answer this question? What was the worst thing you did receive? Okay, we have Jana John has time management. Jana John, why don't you speak up and try to elaborate your answer? Sure, sure. Angit, we can let Jana John speak.
Yeah.
Please unmute Jana. You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, sir. I already do some intern in startup.
Great, great.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
what is
time.
your answer to this question?
Yeah. Yeah. That time, my technical lady say, this is a perfect requirements. You done almost within the 3 to 4 days. But that time I will take more time to do. It's the best thing. I need some best design or best. I need only the best. So that time I will take more time, more days to do that. So that is worst thing I do in my life. So though, yeah, time management is very difficult for.
All right, got you. So you took some more extra time to finish some
Yeah,
deadline,
yeah, yeah.
or it went past that. Okay, I think this particular answer. So you also need to add that it happened just when I joined the company, when I was new in the company. Okay, so it should not sound like you do this mistake often. Okay, so this is not you want the interviewers to think. Okay, you should make him think that, okay, I was pressure, and when I was given my first task or the second task, it took more time than expected, and because of that, the timeline got stretched to 1 day, 2 day, or whatever number you want to speak. And post that, now the crucial thing that I wanted everyone to know, that post this answer, you also have to tell that what actions you took to fix it. Okay, and this is something the interviewer will not ask. Okay, you have to speak for yourself. So taking your case, John, like you talk about time management. Okay,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you faced some issue. You were in the beginning, you faced some issue. Now, in continuing to that answer, add that now when this issue happened to me, what I did personally was I uh, maintained a list of actions that led to this issue. Okay, and once I listed it down, I tried to resolve each of them every time and get a new opportunity to work on. And slowly and steadily, my action items went to zero. And right now, currently, I do not exceed any time limits.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
So I guess this is the answer that a manager looks for. Okay. People are
yeah,
bound to make mistake. If you speak, oh no, I didn't any blunders. I didn't do any blunders in my company. I was a fantastic
yeah,
developer.
yeah, yeah,
So they'll reject you right away because they know that you are lying. So come up with a very minor thing that happened because of you. Let's say this example was really nice that I went off the track for some time, but it is also important that to tell them how did you fix it. Okay,
yeah,
so listen carefully that they are not looking for robots, they are looking for good fixers. Okay, managers
yeah,
always look for people who are good at fixing things, not people are tend to make mistake. If you write some code, it may cause 1 2 bugs. It is very normal in the company, everyone make bugs, but are you able to catch that bug really quick? Are you able to fix that bug, and are you able to take the responsibility of what you did is something what makes a leader.
yeah.
Great. Thanks for interacting, John. I guess
Thank you,
thank
thank
you.
you, sir.
Thanks. So this was something I wanted you all to learn. So I hope you understood what my intention was on having someone on the mic. So yeah, so let's resume. So managerial round, you understood, okay, what kind of questions are asked and what are the expectations of a manager when he's taking your interview. And HR round, if you get a HR round, congratulations, you have the offer, you made it. It's time to party. So I hope I summarized what are the kinds of interviews, what are the kind of the rounds that happen in the interview, and how to deal with them. Okay. So okay, you understood it, all the rounds, everything. Okay, you have the concepts ready, but what you should study, right? So I did some um research of the stuffs that I used to study when I was personally preparing for interviews. And this is a list of the basic stuff that I always practice. So starting off with, let me zoom this for you all. So starting off with basic concepts of JavaScript, as said, uh, I study closures, hoisting, event loop, call stack, difference between var, lat, const, async, arrow functions, and this summarize the basic concepts of JavaScript. Then there are some output based questions that I practice. I practice some output based questions on promises, on set timeouts, and if we immediately invoke function executions, that if the function is immediately invoked, then what can be the immediate output of that question or the code that you have been given. Um, Sai Vegan ready. I guess the resources are well available for on the Geekster as well. Ankit, if you mind sharing those resources with the students about the courses that you have, I guess they will cover these topics as well. I guess this is well covered in the web development bootcamp course that Geekster is having. But apart from that, the one of the only website that people use to learn about this concept is the MDN website by Mozilla. So this is that is a one resource that I personally use to refer, and I also teach people from that MDN resource only. So MDN is a great resource, and we also have Geekster to help all of us over here. Then you have basic concepts, you got output based questions. Then comes the polyfill, which I discussed in the previous slide just above it in the JavaScript route. Okay, we talked about the polyfill questions. So I've listed down some commonly asked polyfill questions like promise.all, array.map, memoization, and reduce. Then you also need to study about the this keyword. Okay, I hope you all know that this keywords behaves differently in function declarations and arrow functions, and how can you change the declarations using a call, bind, and apply. So this is one thing. Then this was all related to JavaScript. Now moving to CSS. In CSS, there is not much to learn about. If you just learn about flexboxes, grids. Then there is this position property, that absolute, fixed, static. Okay, so if you learn about these properties, then you can expect questions like holy grail layout. If somebody knows that there is one very popular question on holy grail layout which is often asked in interviews, and they also try to grill you on the concept only, that if you have, let's say, if you are having three divs, and one, the topmost is having position absolute, the bottom one is position sticky, and the third one is position I guess fixed or something. So what, how would the UI look like? Or will they be stacked on top of each other, or they will be just one below the other? So what is going to happen? Or what if we nest all these divs inside each other, and they act as a child, parent, and grandparent? So how it is going to look like? So possibilities are endless. It's just that you have to have a solid foundations of the concepts, and you are good to crack any question. Next is React JS. It is really important. Although with when hooks came in, the React interviews got really easier because there's nothing that you have to talk about much. You have the use effect hook, you have the use state hook to implement. What are hooks? What is virtual DOM? How do you clean up anything when the component unmounts? What are the life cycle? How can you create a custom hook? So these are basic questions, and most importantly, you will be given a hands-on problem to solve. Okay, React is something that interviewer cannot grasp if you won't write anything on the code. So so they'll ask you to write something to. They'll give you a small problem statement to solve, and this is how they'll understand your control on React JS, and whether you are writing the code in the optimized way, or how can you optimize a React code, what is use memo, memo callback, and other stuffs. So that is, I guess, if you have precise knowledge of each and every hook, then it is very clear and easy, short for you to clear any React JS question. Okay, now moving on in the React only, that you also have to practice user interface questions. User interface questions, as discussed, fall into the machine coding round, which we discussed in the previous slide. This round, machine coding round over here. So I have listed down some important questions that you can practice before appearing for an interview, like implement a counter, simple to-do list. Then there is a progress bar, like when the file is uploading or loading, you see a progress bar, right? 20%, 30%, 100%. So how can you implement that? Then you have a navigation sidebar, okay, where you can have multiple sub menus, and how can you make that responsive and other stuffs. And for DSA, again, you need to practice as many questions you want. You can take courses from Geekster. They are having a 4 months, I guess, program. Yeah, it is 4 months program where you will be solving questions from basic to advanced, on starting from arrays and strings, and to advanced topics like linked list, hash maps, graphs, and trees. So it is also really important for you to understand those concepts as well. And you can expect, again, as said, easy to medium level questions on in your DSA rounds. Okay, so this was all information I had regarding the interviews. But to have a offer in hand, interviews are not only the helpful material. There are there's a realm beyond interviews as well, that you need to be really careful about. Okay, and these tips that I am going to share with you are going to play a really significant role in changing the shape of your interview. Um, okay, so before I share the tips that is inside projects and internships, but I also want to discuss how much time will it take to you to learn everything for the interviews. How much time will it take for you to become interview ready? Okay, so on a personal level, I am still learning till date. There is no single day where I am not learning anything new. It is always a learning day for me. But for interviews, I think that is a completely different path, because there is a limited amount of question that are being asked in an interview, and once you have complete control and confidence over them, then you can definitely ace that interview like anything. So you need minimum 6 to 8 months to get comfortably onboarded with everything. Okay, you need 6 to 8 months. That is minimum. Okay, and 6 months will still not guarantee you a successful interview. You again need to polish your skills and knowledge for 2 months to gain confidence. Having knowing something is something else, okay, but having a confidence over your knowledge is something that will help you crack the interview. Okay, let's say if some interviewer is asking, you might give the answer, but the interviewer might speak something that may raise doubts in you, that may make you change your answer. Okay, like let's say if they ask that what is the difference between lat, core, and vents, you gave the answer, and imagine me as the interviewer and I say, oh, do you really think that is the case? So I made you think your answer. Okay, I made you rethink your answer. And if you are not confident, then you will definitely change your answer during the second time you answer it. Once you answered what is the difference between lead, var, and const, and I told you that, okay, do you really think that is the difference? Can you rethink again? And if I'm having the confidence, I am going to stick to my answer. But if I'm not having the confidence, you are definitely going to mess up things for sure. Okay, so having knowledge is one thing, but having a confidence and certainty over your concept is one thing, and that is something will build solid grounds for your interviews. Okay, great. Yeah. So to sum up, overall, it would be a 10 months journey for you. And I guess Geekster courses are also aligned on this. You can, if you visit the website and go to courses, you can see the whole curriculum of the whole course. And that would be roughly be completed in 10 months only. And I guess this is the at least the minimum amount of time that you need to gain confidence, have the concepts in your mind. All right, so coming to the bonus, what's it, the gold mine that I have for you all. Let me shrink it so that it is easy for you to read. Okay, so we talked about internships, we talked about knowledge, but communication skills, resumes, projects, internships, these are also a really uh, heavy factors that play a part in your interviews. Okay, so there is always a well-defined path for an internship or a job. Okay, if you want to apply for an internship, there is a definite path. If you want to apply for a job, that is a completely different path. And both paths are originating from the same point, but they have a different diversions. Okay, you need to understand that. For internship, when you're applying for an internship, so you're not having any prior experience to that. Okay, you are someone, a college student trying to get into a corporate world as an intern. Okay, that is the ask. So don't think yourself as someone who is an industry expert. Okay, first of all, you are a fresher, you are going to learn things. So automatically the question comes in your mind, okay, I don't have any experience, then what the hell I am going to show in my resume, right? That's an obvious question. If you don't have any industry, so if you open my resume, you will see all the companies which I have worked for earlier, and all the live projects that I have built there. You can see them live. Be it Mintra, I can open the Mintra app and show you, okay, this is what I made. See, this is what I made. This is how it is looking. If I am as a current employer, I am going to go to the website and I'm going to play some content for you, and I'm going to show the interval. Okay, this is what I made, this is what I work for, I can tell you how this is working. Okay, but as an intern, what you are going to show, because you haven't worked anything or anything on live project. Okay, so this is where personal projects come into the picture. Okay, so for a personal project, you have first of all pick a problem statement and that belongs to the real world. Okay, don't take any imaginary problem. I have seen people making that to-do list as a project. Okay, that is not a project. Okay, that is a interview question. That is not a project. Try to solve a real world problem. I'll tell you one story of my college time. So when I joined my college as a first year, since it was a private college, so we had to invest a lot of money on buying that stuffs, lab coats, calculators that costed 500, and there was some equipments for that. You know that CAD and drawings, the engineering drawings that we used to make, and they have this really big scale. uh, I don't know what to call. I don't know what I used to call it. So it was a really big scale, and we used to purchase chart paper and we make diagrams, buildings, and all whatnot. So all of that costed me around 10,000 rupees as a total investment. Okay, and later on, I realized when I came to third year or third years, I realized that these accessories are still with me. Okay, those lab coats, those rulers and calculators and other stuff, they are still with me, and I could have given this to someone junior, but juniors are not having idea. Okay, senior might be having it, or because there is a lack of communication between seniors and juniors, and they are not knowing. So what I did was I simply created a e-commerce website for all these second-hand items for my college, and I ran that website on the local servers. Local servers, okay, and it was running fabulously, and people used to exchange. So juniors used to buy these stuffs from seniors at a really really discounted price, or maybe even for free if someone is really heartful. So now having this project live, it was live on a domain. Okay, now I had mentioned that project into my resume. I had mentioned the URL. Now I was sitting for my first internship, and they asked me, what did you build? I was having my laptop. I moved that laptop in front of my interviewer. I opened the URL and told him, see, this is what I made for my project. You can see it live. And my interviewer was speechless. Okay, and now the conversation whole shifted towards, okay, this is the project. How did you build that? What are the features? Give me a demo. What are the products you are having? How do you verify the products? What is the product? Are you generating any revenue? What is the tech stack? Show me the code. Okay, so if your interview is shifting towards these technical terms, then for sure you are get short to get any internship you want. You just need to have one good live project that you can show to anyone. And this is possible for web developers, because we all can make websites, we all can make applications, we can all make them live on Play Store or any hosting website, right? And we can show them live to the interviewer. So this is your differentiator. Now imagine I am the interviewer and there are two people. One has a live project and one has a non-live project. Who is likely to get more select? Who's more likely to get selected? It is the one who has the live project, right? Not the one who doesn't have a live project. I know that this person has a live project. People are using it, and he has the knowledge how to handle a product. He's a responsible person. Okay, so I tend to choose the person who has a live project, and I'm sure that when this person joins as an intern, he can contribute from day one. Okay, so that is what everyone is looking for in the internship. Or you also, if you also have open source contribution, I guess, works both in internships and in jobs as well. And this life project thing will work as well in your job also, but it will not play a significant part, because the if you have appearing for a job, they are more likely to ask questions on the previous work you did in your organization. Okay, so projects, they do well for interviews, and your corporate work does the job for your next corporate cycle or the next corporate life you have. Now, my advice for everyone listening to this call today, that will be, do not set ideal for 4 years in a college. Okay, always try to do internship and gain experience. I can tell you one thing. I had done 4 internships during my whole 3 years of college. The final year was my on-site internship that I am not counting because it got converted into my full-time job. But I did 3 internships before having an actual one, 3 online internships. And that contributed heavily to my resume. So try to do internships, online internships. I guess there are people where you can work 3-4 hours a day. You can do your college in the morning, 9 to 3 or 9 to 5, whatsoever. Come back and do your job for the internship in the night, right? And get paid, get experience, and build your resume. Your whole 4 years of college should be well enough that you can add something in your resume. If you are not able to add anything in your resume, then there is no point of doing engineering. At the end, everyone can write BTech from this college, this CGPA. Everyone is writing because they did 4 years of college with you. What else can you write apart from that BTech engineer in your resume? What else can you write to make your resume shine in your eyes of the interviewer, right? These are things that you need to focus upon. Do not sit idle, make internships, make projects, be part of technical clubs in your college. If there is no technical club, create one technical club. Okay, create one and include people of similar mindset, work together, go to hackathons, compete in IPCP and other stuffs. And for job, again, I said I landed a job because I had good amount of internships and a good life project. Okay, so this would help you get your selected for the interview, and your interview knowledge will help you crack that round, and then you will get a job. So this was the whole like summary of what it takes to get a job, what it takes to get an internship, what it takes to build a project, what it takes to build a good resume, what it takes to get to earn money, right? Yeah. So I guess this was all I had for today's presentation. I'll be happy to pick up any questions anyone has, be it chat questions, be it if anyone wants to come join as audio, so that is welcome. So this is an open session. Anyone can ask any question. You can raise hands. You can join the call and ask. Yes, Adan, you can speak.
So first of all, good afternoon, and thank you so much for your input.
Good
So
afternoon.
I just had one. Yes, I just had one question. So how much experience from a non-technical background is required to get into a tech career? Like I could not frame it properly, but you have the gist, right?
So help me understand what you are currently doing. Like you are a student, I am guessing.
No, sir. No. I was a working professional. I actually quit my job and have actually realigned my career choices towards IT.
Okay. Okay.
And ever since I've been trying to break my career into tech.
All right. All right. Uh, so I guess there is no limit, Adan, to what you're asking for. All you need is, see, again, as I've told, if you're entering into the tech domain, since you don't have any past experience, you will be entering as a entry level. You will be getting an entry level job. Okay, that
Yes,
is
sir.
one thing you have to realize first. To get an entry
Yes,
level job, you need to work on your technical skills that are specific to that interview. Okay, let's say what is the job you are targeting?
Sir, first of all, I'm targeting as a developer, so as a junior developer, but I would call myself as a JavaScript developer.
Okay,
Moreover, moving on to React.
you're planning to get a front end job if I get
Yes,
it
sir.
right as an entry level.
Yes, sir.
All right, all right. So as discussed in the whole call, we discussed all the rounds that are there for an interview. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you need to first of all continue what you are doing. No need to take a break. In parallelly,
Mhm.
you have to study. You have to study for everything that we have listed down in the slide currently. You have to study JavaScript. You have to study React and practice data structures and algorithms. This is going to take about 10 months as discussed. Now take 10 months, prepare parallelly, and once you feel you are ready, Okay, apply for the jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Right.
I get your question that the HR or whoever is reaching you out, they'll ask questions since you don't have technical background. Okay.
Yes.
So why you want to switch? So you should have one particular answer that why do you want to switch from non-technical background to a technical background? That is the first most requirement. And you should show your resume, build your resume such that uh, that represents that you have a sound knowledge of JavaScript front end and you have made good projects.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, and speak very clearly to HR that you are looking for entry level jobs. Okay. Because you don't have
Okay.
prior experience. And I guess that would be just sufficient for you to crack and get into that technical field.
Okay. Okay.
I hope that answered your question.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes.
right. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Who is next? Anyone for the mic session? Okay, we do have some questions. Okay, we have Keshav. Yeah, hi Keshav. Please ask your question.
Hey, hi. Thank you so much for the session that you have given now. It was very insightful. So, I'm into the industry for 4 years now. I have started my journey as a backend developer, then moved into front end. It's been 3 years in front end. And I started in Angular, then went into React. And now, do you think the focus will be changing into Vue? Because just now I resigned. I am serving notice period. I am searching for offers, and more companies are looking into Vue.js, and more companies are asking, like, if you have more than 3 years of experience, they are expecting you to have some understanding about backend, or they're expecting you to have some momentary towards full stack development as well. So do you think that's a possibility, and we should be, like, inclined towards learning that, or should we like stay on the core scripts of front end development?
Okay, I guess Keshav, your question is really valid. And see, it's like I have seen companies still running on Angular JS. I have seen companies currently running on Angular CLI as well. I'm seeing companies running on React as well. I'm seeing companies running on React, Next, and I'm also seeing companies working on Vue as well. So there are plethora of technologies and frameworks that are currently in the market, and there is no one saturation to one particular technology and a framework. What happening with Vue right now is the new startups that are currently evolving, they are trying to work on the new ecosystem because that is what they want. Okay, they want to impress their investors that we are a new edge startup, we are working on the new technology, we are in web3, we are Vue.js, because Vue is the latest thing we are having right now. And so that is the thing happening with the startups. But if you see the old legacy companies, be it, let's say there's a project in Google, there's a project in Swiggy. Okay, let's say if Swiggy is made in the React Native already, then they'll tend to hire people in React Native roles, whether Vue comes in or any other language comes in. But their technology is not going to change for the next 20 years for sure, because revamping to a new technology is a big thing. So the companies that they have implemented their applications on, that is going to remain the same. For the new technologies or the new projects, I think you can expect Next.js and Vue as the more emerging and popular framework. And obviously, as you said, that having knowledge of backend is also important, because you are tend to integrate APIs, and you need to have understanding, okay, which cluster or which service is serving this API, what is the structure of the JSON looking, how can we improve the structure, can backend really support the proto that I am suggesting, right? So these are
Yes.
basic things required.
Okay, and one more question is that so right now, to be very frank, the job search is getting difficult day by day, because the companies are pushing more into the DSA questions for the front end development as well. As you mentioned, system design questions are like it's primary for a person with 4 years of experience, and somewhere like some very young startups or some startups which are design oriented and design for startups, they are asking questions on design as well. Do you think that learning basics of design thinking and learning the basics of how UI UX works and how it is all clubbed together will help me land a job easily?
Definitely, Keshav. So as I said during the call, during the seminar as well today, that startups will tend to focus more on the system design because they want someone who can make their product. And what Google, Facebook, or other companies are asking for is a good engineer. Okay, yeah, there's a different worlds. A good engineer can solve any question. They can solve a algorithm question. They can solve. They can come up with complex logics. But on a startup, it doesn't really matters if you are able to solve a DSA questions. All they want is that you have that core knowledge to build great scalable systems so that that companies goes into the profit. Okay. So I guess if you are targeting startups or even goes, I think it goes same for service based companies because they tend to take projects from the clients. So all these service based companies and startups, what they are looking for are great developers who can build applications. So I don't think DSA is required for these service-based companies and for startups, but DSA is only, I guess, there for that big tech giants. There.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you so much, man. It helps a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Keshav, for your question. All right, who do we have next? Oh, we have very interesting question from Sahil. How to handle 3 months notice period? Well, personally, I haven't experienced it yet. But the trick which I usually advise my friends is that you if you're having a 3 months notice period, then try to target companies having similar notice period. Okay, because they can't deny your offer. If you are trying to approach a company with 1 month or 2 month notice period NP, then you are tend to get waited, or your application might get rejected. So the only path you have currently is to target 3 months notice period companies have a offer. If that company is really your ideal company, then go for it. But once you are on notice period, I think you that 3 months are is the golden time, and you can simultaneously reach out to more companies uh, as your notice periods as you serve notice period. The less time you have in notice period, the more offers, the more calls you will get, and that by the time, let's say, you start filling applications where you will be writing can join immediately, can join within a week, then you'll get calls, so many calls that you can't even count on the fingers or can write. So I think that should be the only strategy to get on a 3 months notice period. Or if you are very brave or someone, then resign from your company and then look for another job. But that is a risky path, right? So for the safer side, you can pick this. How to fetch entry level jobs in front end developer? Please showcase us how you apply for that job. Entry developer, like it was in campus hiring happening at my college. I gave all the rounds. Uh, so first was MCQ round. There were actually two MCQ rounds happened on the same day. It Many students from the college came in, and it was a pool hiring. You know that word pool hiring, that many people gather together from across institutions, colleges, and they give rounds. So there were more than 3,000-4,000 students appearing for that round, and there were two MCQ questions. Then followed by that, there's one pen and paper round. So that was all. Then I waited for the result for 2 weeks. Then there was an in-office interview again. That your placement coordinators, they can help you crack some better jobs, and you can apply for internships that have a PPO with them. I think that is a very safer side to get a full-time offer. So I personally got a PPO, and I would also suggest you all to, if possible, go with PPO, because having just an internship, again, you have to go through whole cycle again of interviews and all. Why to take that much load? Okay, give interviews where you get internship plus PPO, and I guess that is your job. Is React outdated or easy for all? Because I see too much competition in React job. It's not easy, Sahil. It's because most of the people are using React to develop their application, and it is pretty much robust and scalable. And with entry of Next.js in market, it exploded like anything. So that is why there is a heavy demand of React developers market. All right. I guess these were all the questions. Uh, I don't think there is any mathematics required. We are not scientists, right? We don't do maths. What is Next.js? So after Next.js, sorry, after React came Next.js, it is a kind of again a framework only that is built upon React, where they build. It has a lot of optimization that happens internally, and so we used to do a lot of hack in the webpack in the core system to improve the website and improve the performance. But with Next.js, these all performance improvements and other stuffs, they came inbuilt, and they were optimizing images and other servers like automatically. And there was concept of client side rendering, server side rendering, static site generation, regeneration. So these all things fascinated everyone, and it made every developer's job very easy and smooth. That is why this Next.js became popular. After React, learn Next.js. That is what I would suggest. So actually, I was 22 pass out. Currently, I have learned HTML, CSS. Would you like to apply for entry level funded college job? Can you guide any job portal which helps for applying for an entry level? Um, for entry level internships and all. Uh, so you did any internship before? If not, I would suggest getting an internship first. You can get it from okay, so I guess you should try for an internship first. You can get it from Internshala or Naukri.com as well. And there is LinkedIn also is very popular because you have many filters with full-time, part-time, and internship as well. So you can try those LinkedIn, Internshala, and Naukri.com. And there are also couple of more portals like Insta Hire, Cut Short. These two are pretty good portals. I also use them personally. So you can try that as well. Applying to any internship is like you just open that job description, upload your resume, click apply. I think that is like any regular thing. My LinkedIn ID, you can search for Vedant Jain, and or you can search JS Cafe on YouTube. You can have me there. You can search me here. All right. I guess that's it, Ankit, for today's session.